Hey everybody, hope you are happy, healthy, and well. I'm going to dig into this topic because this is something that came on the news very quickly and left very quickly. And this is a headline from USA Today. I'm going to read the headline for you. Blood pressure drug recall. FDA investigates foreign plants made with drugs with cancer-causing impurities. So what is this article telling us, and why should we really be concerned? So the FDA has a couple of plants, one in China here and one in India, and they're actually making these drugs that are being used by millions and millions of people in the United States. And so that's why we should really be concerned, because what it's meaning is that even though we have the FDA who oversees the efficacy and safety of the drugs that patients take, what it means is that the same standards are not being upheld in China and India, who is selling and bringing drugs over here. I'm not opposed to that because we are in a global trade economy. That's totally okay, but it's a standards issue. So another thing is we've had about 100 drug recalls in 2018, and this is the most current one. That's a huge headline, is because they're cancer-causing contaminants in blood pressure drugs. They're being given to treat and prevent, I'm going to say it again, treat and prevent high blood pressure, which means that tens of millions of people are using them every single day, guys. So one thing I want to touch on real quick are the drug recalls. You guys think I may be up here just tooting, natural health and things like this. Look at this. These are all drug recalls. Drug recalls right here on the FDA website itself. Okay. So look at this. Month 1 of this year already. Month 12. I'm going to go down. Month 11. Month 10. Month 9, month 8, month 7, month 6, month 5, month 4, month 3, month 2, month 1. Every single month we had drugs, and there's different things, labeling errors, things like this. But it just goes to show that, guys, not all drugs are safe, and physicians know that drugs are toxic to the body, but at the same time that's the only option that we have in our healthcare model. You present yourself with a disease state, and it's never the situation where it goes, hey, you're presenting with this massively high blood pressure. It's really not safe. We're going to get you on these high blood pressure medications. In 3 months, we're going to work on your body. We're going to get you back to how it should be and functioning without these drugs, because these are toxic for your body. And while they're saving your life right now, potentially they could cause more harm than good in the future. So not only is that one situation that's really not happening, rarely that I see, the other thing is that these things that are meant to treat and prevent certain things in the body are actually doing more harm, and they're actually potentially causing cancer. And that's what's really sad is the American College of Cardiology and American Heart Association have 103 million U.S. adults, 103 million with high blood pressure in 2017. That's 36%. And guess what? We're treating these people with potentially carcinogenic blood pressure medications for tens and tens of years, while we might be possibly mistreating them with a deficiency, magnesium deficiency. I'm going to dive into that in just a minute here. So basically, this is what I'm saying. High blood pressure medications are often just misdiagnosed magnesium deficiencies. And guys, this is going to be my 2019 toot. You're going to hear me say this over and over and over about magnesium, and you're going to find out very, very soon why. There's only one class of drugs, guys, of about 12,000 drugs that the FDA is overseeing and telling us that are safe. They also imply that the FDA-approved drugs are effective. But in case of high blood pressure, how can a blood pressure be effective when its underlying cause is something that it could be sucking more magnesium out of the body? Now, you've heard me say magnesium a couple times here. This is from the BMJ, guys, the British Medical Journal, one of the most prestigious medical journals in the world. Look at this. Subclinical magnesium deficiency, a principal driver in cardiovascular disease and public health crisis. Guys, this is the BMJ calling this a public health crisis. Look at this. I'm going to talk to you guys and show you guys how we're doing this wrong and how we're going to be doing this better. So check this out. Abstract. Because magnesium serum does not reflect intracellular magnesium. Magnesium serum is the blood test that we take to check magnesium inside of our healthcare system. But it does not reflect intracellular magnesium, meaning, guys, we're not even correctly checking how much magnesium is within the body. 99% of the body's magnesium is stored within the cells, but we are testing that 1% that sits outside the cell. if that makes sense. Let me rephrase this. The blood test that we take inside of hospitals is only sampling 1% when we should be sampling something better. We should be looking at how we can sample how much magnesium sits inside the body. Now I'm going to read this just a little bit. Furthermore, because chronic diseases, medications, decreases in food crop magnesium content, and the availability of refined and processed foods, the vast majority of people in modern societies are at risk for magnesium deficiencies. Guys, this is literally a public health crisis. The amount of money we're spending on medications that are possibly causing us worse things ever, it should be noted that this is huge. So I'm not going to get nerdy. I'm not going to nerd out on you guys, but check this out. This just explains how important magnesium is in the body. We know that magnesium is necessary for the function of over 300 enzymes in the body. 90% of the total body magnesium is contained in the muscles and the bones. The heart, guys, which we're treating for the high blood pressure and things like this, the magnesium, more magnesium is used in your heart and heart function than anywhere else in the body. It's insane. So we're not only are we testing the wrong part of it, we're prescribing something that only treats one thing. Let me say that again. So we present with high blood pressure, so we're treating one specific thing, high blood pressure. So we can either take a pill, which is cool if we need it. Drugs are there for a reason, but they're being overly used. So don't think that I'm against medication. We're being used, and it's very taken out of context and put into the wrong context for our patients. So other things, this is how important it is. So when we could be saturating the body with magnesium, when we know it controls over 300 enzymes in the body. So would you rather take one pill that treats one thing that also has side effects and is toxic to the body and possibly giving you cancer at this point because you've been taking it for tens of years? How long has this been going on for? When we could saturate the body with magnesium and treat over 300 things. Now let me show you how important this is. On top of that, it controls DNA and RNA. Guys, we have a dogma that cancer is DNA related. I'm not going to get into cancer, but this is specific for the ATP is the currency. Think of it as the dollar bill, the almighty dollar of the cells. So it's directly responsible for how much energy our body's making. Now, I'm going to scroll down real quick here because this is almost the most important part. And I've been saying this to people for a long time now, but I think it's important that we actually show real studies to look at these things. So back in the day when we had hunter and gatherer type people, weren't sitting around going to the fridge and sitting on the computer all day, guys. We would sit and we would gather naturally where at water resources for our food and our hunting and things like this. And guys, the ocean has natural occurring magnesium and electrolyte balances that we need. So we would be getting about 600 milligrams magnesium a day. Guess how much we're getting today? In developed countries, ladies and gentlemen. In developed countries, the average intake of magnesium is slightly over 4 milligrams a day. More than 25% of obese and non-obese youth have inadequate intakes of magnesium. So think about that. When you are growing, when you have growing bodies, rapidly dividing cells from day one, and you're growing up without those 300 plus enzymes being directly controlled by magnesium, no wonder why we're having kids with all these problems. No wonder why we're sicker than ever. No wonder why the cost of healthcare is going up. And no wonder why we're not figuring things out, because more things that you go to your physician that you're trying to figure out are usually just a magnesium, I'm sorry, not just a magnesium, but they're usually just a vitamin or mineral deficiency, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? Unfortunately, I have to be blunt and say that none of this education comes into medical schooling. So while we present with a disease state and we're treating it with a pill, it's good in some respects, but we need to start looking at better ways that we can start sampling our blood and taking care of our problems with vitamin and nutrient deficiencies. So while in medical school, it's taught that here's a disease state, here's a pathology, and here's what we can do to treat it with a pill. But we're not looking at what caused it in the first place. We're not looking at all these beautiful salts, all these beautiful minerals and vitamins and electrolytes that our body naturally flourishes on, because I don't know. I mean, we could be treating the healthcare crisis that we have. This is literally a public health crisis, not just me saying this now. We could be treating this for pennies on the dollar. We could be saving billions of dollars a year, and now we're all concerned about how many trillions of dollars in debt we are. Think about 10, 20 years from now, if we're saving $300 billion a year, a third of $1 trillion a year just on cardiac healthcare costs, what it could be doing. So it's amazing. So what this type of drug has been doing, these are different These are just more articles from USA Today. So I'm going to read this to you guys. The type of drugs that are recalled are these certain type of blood pressure medications, and how they work. I think it's on the next. One here. Check this out. But basically, oh, here they are. Yep, the recalled drugs are a large class of drugs called angiotensin II receptor blockers, and all they do is they block the effects of a hormone that narrows blood vessels. So basically, what's happening, guys, with magnesium deficiency, our blood vessels get brittle, they get hard, and so they tighten up, and so they get smaller and they get really tense. So now we're going to have narrowing of the blood vessels. That smooth muscle gets really stiff, and now we're going to have high blood pressure from it. Magnesium naturally lowers the blood pressure. Naturally lowers it. Okay, so we have all these beautiful scientists working on these things and duly noted their work. I mean, the drugs save lives, but when we're treating things with a drug that can possibly cause another side effect, like cancer or something else, and now we're getting chemotherapy, radiation, and that whole gamut, and we all know how much the healthcare cost of that, or even just something more simple. You might be just having a side effect of that blood pressure medication, and now you need a second medication to try to treat this, and we can see the cascade effects, and it's nobody's fault. This is just the system in which is put in place for us, and that's what's really sad. You know, I'm not condemning anybody. I'm just trying to teach people that there are better ways, cheaper ways, more effective ways, and safer ways to do our healthcare. And it's not just me up here talking about this. This is the BMJ calling this a public health crisis, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just one example of better ways that we can do healthcare, cheaper, safer, more effective, ways that aren't being taught. And I know I talked to you about better ways to sample magnesium. The best way is to print out that article that I showed you on the BMJ and show it to your doctor. You should be mad. You should be upset if you're on high blood pressure medication, especially if you've been on them for years and years and years. You don't have to deal with the side effects. You don't have to deal with the toxicity. You don't have to deal with the chronic conditions and the feeling of hopelessness and feeling like your condition isn't being met, like your condition isn't getting better. Because I don't know anybody who's been cured of their high blood pressure through use of medication. In fact, I don't know anyone who's been diabetic who their diabetes have gone away from their metformin or from their diabetic medication. I don't know anybody who has... I could go on and on. You understand the point. So this is just one thing, guys. One thing that controls over 300 things. And I know many people start talking about it's over 600, it's over 700. It could be as many as 800 things in the body. So let's not treat one disease with one medication, because we need a diagnosis medically to give you a pill to make money. And we need to remember that medical care is a business first and the patient care second. But it doesn't have to be. It's just what it is, guys. So let's bring it back. Let's put you first. Let's start digging into some real stuff and making you guys happier, healthier. You guys, like, it's almost easy enough just to say, like, there's better ways to do things, and we just can't be afraid to talk about them and bring things to light. So that's all. I mean, I always say protect yourselves. When you literally look at things on a cellular level and we're not treating just a symptom, guys, man, it's amazing how your body can feel. We're not meant to live this way. We're really not. So that's all. Hope you guys stay healthy. Hope you guys stay happy. And as always, just keep protecting yourselves. That way they will protect you in return. Take care.